Good morning. It's a beautiful morning here on the farm. So yesterday I should say, we got all of our corn done. When my dad told me earlier in the year that he was going to back off his corn acres, I didn't realize how much he was going to back off his corn acres. So we only had about 250 acres of corn to plant. So luckily the weather cooperated with us finally and we got that done. So today now, my dad's out digging this morning and I'm going to change these discs on the corn planter because right now they've got corn discs in them. So I need to go through and I need to change them and I need to put the bean discs in. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to unhook all these latches here. Lift this box up here. There's this little cover right here. Get that out of there. And this disc right here, I need to pull out. Maybe. Oh, I need two hands for that. There we go. So this disc right here, we're pulling out, we're putting bean discs in. As you can see, they're numbered. So each row, this is a 24 row corn planter, each row has its own disc, and they say you're supposed to keep the same disc in the same row unit because of the wear marks around it, so it doesn't wear in a different spot if you put it in a different row unit. So we're gonna do that. Then all this corn in here, we need to vacuum out all this corn. Then we'll put the bean disc in, and we need to change the singulator here. The singulator just controls how much seed will flow into the unit here. So we'll get that changed. We'll go through the whole thing. Once I get that done, I'll come back. All right, took a little bit longer than that, but we got it done. We got all the disc change over and we got all the settings changed. So that's good to go on beans. Now, I only got about 50 acres done the other day. I was in the bean drill. So I was up north drilling in some beans, but didn't get a whole lot done. Had some computer issues and some drill issues with some plugging, so I'm gonna go back up there. Should be fit to go. It was sunny this morning, so some of the stuff that was wet yesterday should be dry. So, but I'm out of fuel, so I'm gonna take the pickup here. That's got the fuel tank in the back and get some fuel. So that way, when I run out of fuel up there, I can fuel up. So we're gonna do that now. Well, that's filling. Our seed guy dropped off some chemical yesterday for spraying, so I'm gonna go move that into the shed here. So I'm up north here finally. As you can see, I'm putting beans in with the drill. We're hoping today we can get quite a few acres in before it rains. It's supposed to rain later tonight, about 11, 12 o'clock. So we're kind of trying to beat the rain here and try and get as many acres as we get as many acres in as we can today. Excuse me. We switched over the corn planter so it can plant beans now. Excuse me. So Dad's out planting beans with the corn planter, and this year we only had about 300 acres of corn. So the main thing, we wanted to get that in because corn has a certain maturity date. So we planted 94-day corn, or 96-day corn, excuse me. So we got that in. That's what we were worried about the most, since it's been wet and it's already May 17th already. So, but luckily the weather cooperated with us yesterday. We got that all in yesterday, so that's good. But now we're trying to beat the rain and get as many acres in as we can. Now we have about 1,500 acres of soybeans we need to put in. So we got quite a bit of acres ahead of us, especially with the weather coming. And we don't need any more weather delays with all the soybeans we're putting in this year. So we need to, hopefully we can just keep going. But unfortunately, I think the weather is going to put a halt on things. But things up here are going so far so good, so I can't complain. But it is looking awfully blue out to my west, so I'm hoping that the weatherman was right and it's not going to rain any sooner than it's supposed to, because if it does, then that'll put kind of a downer on the day. We don't want to do that. We want to try and get as many acres as we can, because like I said, we're just the two of us, trying to run equipment back and forth between fields and getting seed and things like that. It gets difficult sometimes, so we're hoping, we're crossing our fingers. So other than that, not a whole lot going on. Planting. You know, me, myself, I don't mind running the drill, but I would much rather be I'd much rather have it be fall right now and be running the combine on a grain cart or something like that. But I guess you can't harvest unless you put the seed in the ground, so I'm coming up on a very odd thing I wanted to show you guys. Maybe if I can steer and turn at the same time here. So if you look right there, that right there is a bit strange, don't you think? Well, for those of you who didn't quite see it or realize what it was, that's a culvert. Now you're probably wondering why there's a culvert in the middle of the field. Well, a couple years ago we had this quarter tiled. Now, I don't know if you can see, but down where that culvert was in that little green patch, and up down through the valley, all the way up and around, all the way down to that low spot down there, and all the way back up, there's a flat up over here down in there that's about 20 acres, and it was all slough because it was so wet and it was such a low spot. Nothing but grass would grow there. We couldn't plant it, it was too wet, couldn't get in there. So we had this tiled, and just a short on tiling. Tiling is where they put this drain tubing into the ground, kind of below the water level of the low spot, so that way the water will run out into the tube and down into a low spot like ours is down over in those trees down there. So the water from all the way back there will drain down into that slough, into the, what's the word I'm looking for, that washout, and down into this slough down here where there's actually water sitting down here. So before that, we couldn't get there. But before we tiled that slough would always be wet, and we'd have to come across somehow to this side of the field, and you could never get across because it was so wet and it was so deep. So that culvert was there to allow water to run through it, and then we put dirt on top of it. That way we could drive over the top of it onto this side of the field. So that's why that's there. But now that it's tiled and water runs through it, it's all good. There's nothing, there's no water running through there anymore, and we can farm the whole thing. So I suppose we just haven't taken the time yet to go and take the thing out. But I just thought you guys would think that's kind of funny, because normally you don't see a culvert sitting in the middle of the field. You know, we see them like on the roads, and it's a legit road culvert. It's tin and everything. So I just wanted to tell you guys that funny story. Time to stop and get a little fuel in her. Well, while I'm waiting for that to fuel up, I'm going to take a lunch break. Chicken. Let's check it and see how she's doing. Oh, that's plenty. Let's see here. I bet you can't hear me with the fan. Oh yeah. Look at that. Get all that junk out of there. Still a little bit left. There, I think we got it. Get that out of there. Oh, jeez. Let's see if it'll work. Different quarter, and I just got started. I'm doing the end rows right now. Dad's over east. He's with the corn planter. He's still over there, and then Grandpa is digging. I'm not quite sure where he is, but he's digging somewhere. So he's doing seed bed prep. So right now we got 3 rigs going, and we're trying to work our hardest right now to get a bunch of the seed in before the rain's supposed to come. They say they're starting to change the forecast, and it's supposed to be 2 inches to 3 inches to 1 inch. So we don't really know how bad it's going to be, but it's not going to be good, that's for sure. So we're hoping that depending on how much seed we have, we can get most of our acres done. But I'm not quite sure that we'll have enough seed, because we buy our seed in bulk. We don't have it delivered to us in those nice plastic containers that hold 40 units or whatever. We actually drive down to the elevator, and they have a huge bulk bin, and we just take our seed tender down there and fill it. So I'm not quite sure how late the elevator is going to be open, but if they close anytime soon, then that'll put us out of business. But I don't think they are, since it's their busy season. So until then, we'll just keep on chugging. Hopefully we won't have any breakdowns. So far we haven't, which is surprising. because for the most part something goes wrong. But it's a good thing that it hasn't yet. So hopefully it's I don't know, 5:45 right now. So if I keep going at the rate I am and I don't have any issues, hopefully I'll finish before, it'll probably be around 11 o'clock if we go that late. So if we do go that late, hopefully we can get this in. So that's what's going on. Well, the computer was beeping at me that one of the units was plugged up, so I came back here and unplugged it, because most of the time the seed just fills in too fast. And so I just have to come back here and unplug it. Well, I'm not quite sure what's wrong. As you can see here, these turn here. These are all on a link, driven by this sprocket chain, which is hooked up to that chain right there, which is hooked up to that tire down there. It's not a gauge wheel, but just a drive tire hooked to all the chains and stuff in here that drives everything. In short, anyway, most of the time it spins too fast or something and just fills too much seed in these little units right here. Well, I came out and dug it out twice now, and it's still not clearing up, so I'm afraid it almost feels like there's something stuck in there, because if I take my handy dandy homemade tool here, which I don't even know what it's from. Anyways, if I stick it in that one right there, as you can see, kind of grounded a mark on it to figure out how deep it is. Well, if you come over here to this one, you can see it doesn't go in the same distance. The mark's right here in the other one. If you take it and stick it in this one, it goes all the way to that mark. So we got something stuck in there, and I'm trying to figure out what it is, because it's not seed. So we're gonna have to figure that out. Well, we figured out the blockage was a rock.